Inside Story Uganda, real source of political updates.
Who, after spending 50 plus days in prison, had transformed into an angel. How much of a contradiction is this? Well,
this is important, if you allow me. First of all, that one, you have cut aspects of the president, because he said, if you have personal issues as MPs, we can find institutional way to support you. And in that address, then he said, we can create a revolving fund. I think he had forgotten probably that actually Parliament already has a circle, parliamentary circle, from which probably the members of Parliament maybe can add, the government official. He said, we can support you institutionally rather than you as individuals going to. Second, on Namuju, he said, and which is done in law, in court, in the judicial system of Uganda. You can be a suspect, and then you turn to be a state witness. And it's in that address, he said, Namuju, and the other three people, the other three MPs, did go to him and other agencies, and they provided details of what is going on.
Isn't that quite telling? Someone that...
Yes. Don't we have suspects even in
court sent to jail and...
Yes, you can, because you can be a state, you can turn into a state witness in the process of investigation and prosecution. And provide that information.
Bakena, do you find the president walking the talk on corruption in the 12th Parliament?
You see, when you have it with a background of money being given to the Ofono Opondos, and the question is, where did the money come from? Honorable Dombo is trying to justify that we passed the money with that intent. There's never been such an intent. Flexibility of the president is not just to give money. I go back to the issue we were raising earlier. It's measurable. Certain things are measurable. What UPC achieved in the 60s took the number of beds to 2.4 beds per 1,000. Currently, we're less than 1 bed per 1,000. And we had that problem during COVID. COVID was a high dependency unit beds, intensive care unit beds. We didn't have enough. So if we have a major crisis, we don't have enough beds. At the time when we did that one, population was 7 million. I was in Parliament. I think, Dombo, you were there when we passed the loan for rehabilitating the Obote hospitals when the late Dr. Malinga was Minister of Health. I supported it. We were supposed to rehabilitate 24 hospitals. We only managed 10. We borrowed some other money, we did 2 more, we did 1 more. I am leaving Parliament, the 24 hospitals built in the 60s. We have failed to rehabilitate under this great government, which has done hospitals, which has done beds according to Ofono. This is the problem which we're facing. Now we come to the question of money. I have been trying to figure this one out. Honorable Dombo here was talking about money for parties. The money for 2021 election for parties, we did not receive. The president said his people acted in an unchristian manner. Unchristian. I have followed this one because I was following it before being part of IPOD. On the floor of Parliament, I called their actions diabolical. I went further to upgrade them to satanic. Because after this election, 2021 funds have not yet come. 2026 funds have not yet come. Dombo here is saying, no, money has been given to parties. The president was magnanimous. Now I ask, how many t-shirts did you people get? 30 million? 20 million? Or just 6 million or these 7 million votes? You brought maybe 30 million t-shirts. Where did the money come from? There was money per village. Where did the money come from? And some of the operatives of NRM, they say it is costing us more to deliver. Is it the 630,000 they're supposed to deliver? It was costing them more to deliver that 630,000 to the village. But where did this all money come from? NRM have taken all the resources of Uganda as theirs.
Okay.
Theirs.
Is the president's pledge anything to count on?
How? Can money, cash money, the sort of monies be available in Parliament without the president being aware? In Uganda of today, which you know of Uganda of yesterday, So when people say parliament, there's money in parliament, fund in parliament, I don't believe it is possible without the president's knowledge. And these are things which my problem is we need to address them and we need to have systems in place. This issue of money to this group, that group, let's have systems which work. I should not be able to know, look for this, my elder here, or this one for treatment. We should have systems which work. For education, we have systems which work. It's not the work of the MPs to be the ones taking these people for treatment. Now, that is where NRM has failed and is continuing to fail.
Thank you. Honorable Semuju, in the number of times, in the several addresses by the president, did you feel him setting the tone for the 12th Parliament, especially when he pronounces himself on the issue of corruption?
It was drama.
Sorry?
Drama, Katemba. See, during COVID, Museveni sent a supplementary budget to be processed. I think in good faith. The Parliamentary Commission, because the MPs were also very active during COVID. I have an ambulance that was called a funeral van. That funeral van was on the road. It does, because we carry even people who are dead. It was on the road almost 24 hours during that time. But we're also giving a relief. I even had to go to Ofonopono to look for maize. So the Parliamentary Commission said, MPs, since you guys have brought here a budget, MPs should also be given 20 million. Museveni was on TV, lambasting Parliament, attacking each and everybody. What happened? After that, 20 million must be returned. He went to his NRM MPs and he said, please help me return the 20. I am giving you 40. That's the president you are talking about. After anger, displaying anger in public on TV, they must return the money, 20 million. He asked, please return. Each NRM MP Museveni gave them 40. They were receiving that money from Mukororo, where Kasoi Lumumba had an office. I don't know if he's still there. The money that Dombo spoke about, and you know, because Dombo that time was a commissioner, now is a spokesperson of NRM. And they did something very good, their commission with the Kadag. Said we need to help our own MPs. And that's the reason the Parliamentary Commission exists. Got a Chinese who was willing to buy the loans and then reduce the interest that people were paying. When Museveni heard that someone else was the one helping MPs, he summoned the Dombos. And Dombo was a very unpopular commissioner and his group to Museveni because they were doing wonderful work.
They did good work.
Yes.
They did good work.
As a commission, issues of pension, issues
As
of
the
everything,
spokesman is not doing a
they
good
were
work.
very good commissioners and very good leaders.
How about now that is
Now Museveni has taken over. He runs Parliament, I think, like a kiosk.
No, what I mean, the Dombo of then and the Dombo
This
of now.
one here, this one has become useless. So he defends and nationalizes everything.
There are two Dombos I respect. Dombo as the chair of Natural Resources Committee and Dombo as a commissioner of Parliament. There I would testify he worked diligently and so fulfilled
How
those
about
roles.
For the
the
institution.
mouthpiece of NRM?
This one, no. So let me not forget the point I was making.
That's harsh.
The reason Wafula stopped us from getting the money, and we had a debate with him, was because this was an institution that formerly the Dombos had approached, and it was accepting to buy our loans. What does Museveni do? After meeting with Dombo, he said, I can give them money I have here in my Chikondoro. Said each MP was giving 112, something like that. 110. And you didn't know who was qualifying. You didn't know where the money was being distributed from. It was from his Chikondoro. So he says, you bring Semuju, I also give him, he will stop making noise.
Did you get?
No, I didn't. But I told Wafula if they call me, I will get, but they never called me.
So you can't blame the guys who got...
Maybe they brought it. They may not have called you, but they brought you.
No, they didn't. I told Wafula we should go and get the money. But Wafula said, don't, please don't. And I think many opposition MPs didn't because of Wafula's intervention. So that money was from Chikondoro. The man stopping a formal transaction between parliamentary commission and the financial. And the only reason he did so was because he never wanted the parliament to be independent of him. So he must be the sole provider. And Dom wants now to thank him. He's a very good man. He didn't do it in good faith because he wanted to continue. The same way he gave the 40 million. He said you can take back at the 20 if you have eaten it, but you also have some 20 as pocket money. So in Chankwan's, the context is that it is him who must personally solve people's problems, but not the institution of parliament.
You've heard the president, and it's actually embedded in one of the resolutions. Top of the resolution, intensified fight against corruption.
You see, you go back to Wasolule as a deputy to Augustine Uzendana, honorables. Wasolule said corruption is licensed for some. If you go and get the money and you are not one of those who are licensed, you are in trouble. Like you've seen this issue of Mavati. I have never understood that from vice president to prime minister to speaker to everybody, that is Nandut who is in prison. Really? Who can justify that? That in a group of more than 40 ministers, senior government people, they have picked this populous young girl and dumped her in Ruzira. And they are fighting corruption. So that's the Museveni way of fighting corruption. She may have done something that we don't know. So the punishment is not because of the money that you have taken. It is because of something else. So that's why Namujo, my sister, has become an angel. Because I think they're also being punished maybe for something else. Because at that time, you must understand, Museveni has had a running battle with the parliament over budget. Do I have the final say or parliament has? So when the issues of corruption in parliament came, he thanked God, the same way he thanked God when COVID came, that now he will restrict people's liberty. So this whole campaign about corruption gave Museveni an opportunity to resolve a long outstanding problem he has had with the parliament over budget. So he now brings a budget where he doesn't allow even a comma to be removed.
If you could listen to his interjection, yes.
Simon, I just wanted to just make an interjection on two issues. The first one is that the way our administration is structured, the appointment of the Auditor General reports to Parliament on the things of corruption. All other commissions are reporting to Parliament. And what happened to the previous Parliament and to the members of Parliament, which led to the honorable members going to apologize and turn into state witnesses, does not give a good reputation to the institution of Parliament. And it was important that the President came out very strongly in order to caution the current Parliament that before they go to Parliament, perhaps the President may not be as magnanimous as he has been when he's going to be dealing with them.
So who is the President in the judicial process now?
But this matter of the 4 MPs, the matter stalled. I don't know that it's Museveni who caused it. Reason, under the Anti-Torture Act, the Honorable Akamba, especially the way he was grabbed, he asked a constitutional court referral that his rights had been violated, and very clear.
The former minister of Karamoja, the one from Namisindwa, the reason why she hasn't been sentenced or whatever, her case hasn't moved, is because she was clever and went and alleged human rights abuse. And they stopped her criminal trial for the Mabati.
So I now understand that it is Museveni stopping them. Because these MPs on their own, I had thought, are the ones who moved the court. They needed the constitutional court to pronounce himself. But in Chankwan's Museveni says he's the one who forgave the MPs. Maybe he's the one who's doing these tricks.
No.
Because that's what
I
is on
am talking
record.
about the Mabati.
What is on record is that the Honorable Akamba moved the court that I want.
No, I'm talking about the minister for the Mabati, the main minister.
That's what I'm saying.
And by the way,
Because if he says
the legislator,
yes,
in our system, there is no collective guilt. So you cannot say that why is it Nandutu who has been convicted and the rest of the suspects, the people you call suspects, are out. Because every case is judged on its own merit and also how the defense presents their case.
I also live here.
Yes,
and I know only a handful were even subjected to a legal process. The rest, the president said, I forgive them. Because if I'm going to arrest everybody, who will I work with? You have forgotten very quickly.
No, I've not.
So you don't remember him making that statement?
I've not forgotten, but I know that the DPP...
Didn't he say that?
I know that the DPP questioned each of them.
Didn't.
And they arrived at different conclusions.
The president said...
The
president said, I have forgiven them because I will have nobody to work with.
Actually, were asked to return the Mabati. Actually, the majority of them.
Okay, are you aware of the president's statement?
But
it
was public.
To the Mabati thieves.
The president can't pardon somebody who hasn't been convicted. Use an appropriate word.
No, he said so himself.
No. Him saying so does not qualify in law to be a pardon.
Yeah, he interfered with the court process.
The president cannot legally pardon somebody until he is convicted. Even this is Uganda.
Even illegally.
This is Uganda.
Because the DPP will charge you on the basis of the facts that they have unearthed.
Okay.
Yes.
Do you find weight in the president in NRM's commitment to fight corruption?
So you
have now
resolution number 1.
You have now turned the resolution into
the public declaration he was making. He has made it before, and I am telling you that was drama katemba.
Thank you, Honorable Dombo. How significant or rhetorical is the president's commitment to fight corruption and the NRM, making it a resolution?
You know, running Uganda as a country is very interesting because we're talking about commitment fight against corruption at a time when the minister has just been convicted in the courts of law. And now the debate, instead of applauding the system for doing a good job, you find other voices, very certain voices, now beginning to ask why only Nandudu and why not the one. So, because every incremental gain in the fight against corruption should matter and should be applauded and should be applauded.
Dombo.
You have just said yourself that somebody went and used the court in order to defer. You are the one who has just said it here.
Yeah, but
that's not selective.
But the president appropriated.
People are just being ingenious.
The president appropriated it and said, I am the one who forgave them.
People are just being ingenious, using their knowledge of the law in order to fight against what is happening. Running Uganda as a country and what has enabled President Museveni to be head of state for these 40 years and enabling NRM to be in charge. It has been balancing, doing right, passing legislation, but where it needed talking to people, to Ugandans, like when the president was talking to members of parliament, he even did that. Not because he's weak, but because from his vintage position, he knows that running Uganda, there are a number of challenges. And let me tell you, why are we grappling with the corruption? Corruption is attractive and it is sweet for those who delve in the practices of corruption.
Today you pronounce that I will not tolerate corruption. Tomorrow, you are pardoning the corrupt.
Under the law,
how awkward can that
be?
The
law, the president is mandated. Under the law, he can do that because I know Nalo Murinda Viri Maso had challenges and the president pardoned him legally because he's authorized under the law to do.
You remember there was that cow of Ntunga Mokabale during the CA elections? You remember the most recent case? My young brother Jamwa? And he has done so in the cases even of death penalty.
So, for the president to do that, He does that on advice of the board which he has been set up and gives
that's,
gives recommendations why that one must be done. But while
that's literally preaching water and then you drink wine.
absolutely, because that's what Jesus did.
Eh.
Aren't you a Christian? What did Jesus do when they were going to condemn a woman who had fornicated and was going to be stoned to death? What did he ask? Was he condoning fornication by asking that question? That if you have never done it, be the first to throw the stone. He was just telling them that we are human beings operating in a situation that has got its own challenges. But I want to tell you, the president's commitment and the capture of that in this resolution from Chankwanzi is very specific. The members of parliament should know that they owe the public a duty to do a good job so that they can attract reports and even whistleblowers to come to parliament. When you were in parliament, there are whistleblowers coming to parliament to tell us. But now when the members of parliament become the problem, then the whole government structure
is it
becomes
a
the
new
problem.
dawn? Are we looking at the 12th parliament as saviors, as a very new crop that is going to be very loyal, very honest, and non-corrupt?
The president met the people. He told them the vision of the party, the aspirations of the people of Uganda, and the work that lies ahead. And he warned them using that insect in Uganda. It's called what? Kamwaka.
Kamwaka, the one with the bad smell.
He said, don't touch. Because when you touch it and you smell like it, you get into problems. So the president has prepared the members. He has talked to them, but also told them the consequences and effects. He even called a member of parliament, whom he from the previous parliament, and because of the challenges that happened, and the member acknowledged to come in the front, and the president made a statement. So to us, we believe this is a very strong commitment, and it would be very unfortunate from the 12th parliament if any member, despite what we went through the other day, is caught red-handed, getting involved in corruption when there is has been a commitment.
Do you
and
consider
even a
Namuju
resolution.
an angel?
No, that's what the Bible says. Omuntu omubi bw'akyukanga okuleka obubi we n'akola ebyalagirwa eby'ensonga. That's what the Bible says.
Oh.
But you are sentencing these MPs and
I don't know why our moderator has taken that direction.
Because I found it intriguing.
But the law we follow provides avenues how somebody accused, whether rightly or falsely, can by themselves extricate or by the machinery of the state. You know, currently we have alternative dispute resolution, under which, for example, there is plea bargaining. I am sure you have read most recently cases where, you remember that PS, I don't want to mention his name, the one of agriculture, out of the money for locusts and other things, who were caught by the IGG, Bet Kamia, through the machinery, and they went into plea bargaining, and the rules don't even allow, don't permit disclosure of what the settlement is. However, Bet Kamia, before she left office, she came to my office there, Media Center, and she had done a tabulation of how much money she had recovered from people of that nature, officials of that nature, which was in billions. They never faced open prosecution or conviction for that matter. They didn't. So, if the president can intervene through his machinery and talk to the MPs, and the MPs, even if they had just given him how the mischief, the people involved in the record were, that's sufficient in my view. That helps deter. Now, the Bible that most of you follow gives 10 commandments. I want to presume that the Bible was written a little over 2,026 years ago. No fornication, respect to your parents. I don't know what the 10 commandments. Does humanity follow all of them to the dot. In our own case here, most recently, didn't we find an archbishop? Was he hanged by the church? The Church of Uganda, was he? If the church, the religious institution, which we all believe in, most of you can forgive, they don't pursue. For the greater good of the church, because if you are to pursue an archbishop of the Church of Uganda, what are you saying about the doctrine of the church? Now, I just want to end with this. There has been, you have made here a statement, and I have read it variously on the media, that Honorable Norbert Mao and Andrew Mwenda, my brothers, that they were removed.
You know, it is the Honorable Mao who said so.
I want to say it. This should have been one of my brother Dombo's job. I want to say that I read both the draft schedule, timetable of the NRM from the organizers. I have the last program, timetable. There has never been any proposal that maybe he was desirous to make a presentation. Or some of you think that he is so good.
Yeah, but this complaint was also re-echoed by Namuganza.
There are people who are sulking. Namuganza is sulking. You know, Namuganza says she was cheated in her primaries. I suspect that could be also the reason motivating her to come back, to come for the speaker. And remember, under this current speaker, that was when she was censured. It is human. If you are not a member of NRM, why should you be the one telling NRM how Mao is the best person to present to us or to be the best speaker? The people who are talking that are people who actually known not to like NRM, but they are now the ones recommending to us who should be our speaker. Can you imagine? What logic is that?
Honorable Kena.
So I want to put it on record that there was never any proposal for Andrew Mwenda or Norbert Mao. Maybe they asked and they were not considered.
That settles the debate, doesn't it?
No, I was only...
Is it normal? Was it a normal thing for somebody who has been opposing you to say, to accost you actually, pester you, invite me?
And he was invited.
Is that normal? You see, the president can invite you, the chairman of NRM can invite you to a retreat, but that retreat doesn't belong to him. That retreat belongs to the NRM as a machinery. So you cannot just brag and say, I am a guest of the chairman. No,
well,
my friend.
Do you find merit in discussing the resolutions of the NRM, Honorable Kena, or we are better off concentrating on what captured the headlines?
First, I was trying to understand.
When is the UPC retreat?
We are still dealing with these.
I think we have about 5 UPCs now. Which UPC are you talking about?
Was in the corner
5 UPCs. You people be honest.
Okay.
5 UPCs where when we were fighting the campaign, there are people who you see on TV, but you don't find them on the ground.
There is the Warubiri UPC.
Well, I didn't see him.
There's Joseph Ochieno.
Have you seen him
There
on the
is
ground?
the Ocheno UPC.
Nagongera.
No, at least he's in the studio here.
There is a
Maybe
Dennis
the
Enap
constituency-
UPC.
Maybe the constituency.
And now the Akena
If the
UPC.
constituency in NBS or on the media, yes, me, I know the constituency where we deal with voters.
Okay, there is Enap.
Where?
Dennis Enap.
Where?
He trades as a UPC president.
Where? You know, these are real things. You get this issue where people manipulate, they try to create a false head, but really, the people of UPC know the leader of UPC. When we were in battle, where were they? Now, before we lose track here, there was an issue which came.
And I think that's very important. We actually need to know the person we are speaking with.
I am known. I've been here 20 years. I have led the party from the front.
Yeah, but court threw you out.
Where? Court said I've done my 2 terms, then they said that...
And his advisors are saying it is Museveni helping him through courts to keep him in that chair.
Okay.
He says it's Museveni who's frustrated is the deal.
You see, in UPC, we do not trade in rumors, as Ofono Pondo wants to do. One thing which I want us also to put very clear, I don't understand this corruption of parliament. In the sense that as a backbencher, how does this backbencher become corrupt or is able to corrupt things. If you talk about leadership, that would be a different question. And there are things which have happened which are very strange. We had this bill on the fuel, UNOC. I'm on the committee. We had difficulties in the committee. We voted on particular clauses as the rules provide. When the vote passes, that becomes a majority report. We signed our majority report, which was to be presented. And I think those are one of the issues which affect Honorable Akamba, who presented on behalf of the committee. But it ended up being a minority report because overnight, more members who never attended the committee came and signed. So this person who had never sat in the committee, did not discuss, was able to come and sign. Where is that corruption coming from? On the leadership, another question I'll ask about corruption. I've been on the committee of natural resources. We get a loan even before we have sat down to process the loan, we're on the order paper. And you're under pressure to process it. When we raise concern, now, isn't that in itself corruption? Some of it we're able to catch. The one which you caught Amarok, a small company trying to loan Uganda, that one eventually, when we raise concern, the minister now tries to withdraw, but it's in the report of parliament. So what corruption are we dealing with? There was a huge media report on corruption, which came on social media. What has happened to it? Which corruption are we dealing with? Me as a backbencher, I have actually seen very little chance for many of those members are not going to have, where are you going to the corruption issue? Corruption would be perhaps if you do things which are not according to your conscience or not according to what, like those people I'm saying who signed the report but never attended the committee. So what corruption are we talking about which the president wants to fight? Because there's bigger areas of corruption which we see.
Very good question. And when we return, we'll still be looking at how the Chankwanzi retreat.
We are dealing with now. I have seen a proposal that to amend the constitution that you want to enlarge the term of office from 5 to 7. I saw it was being validated between the speaker and her competitor, Norbert Mao, because I know the origin that it is Museveni who had started it. But he was telling a cabinet, I think, some time back, before age limit was removed in 2017, that 5 years is a short period. He spent the first 2 years dealing with the appointments. I am fixing UPC people here, and DP, he used those are the exact words he used, UPC and DP. And he said, I work for only 1 year. As I begin working, now they are party primaries for another 2 years. He said, but because human beings are inherently selfish, the NRM MPs picked it since he had started it, and they had quickly changed the constitution. I am one of those who went to court. We went for a different reason, but that became one of the victims of our going to court. So there's uncertainty because of Museveni's age. People who are around Museveni, they know that he's an old man, officially 81. Because the moment you are 81, he has been speaking about himself when he was meeting traders over electronic invoicing in Kololo. He said, for me, I'm about to go and meet the Almighty. So even those who are around him see him as a candidate for meeting the Almighty. And that brings uncertainty. That's why you see there is a group that is hovering around his son. I think maybe if Mzee goes to meet the Almighty, as he says himself, maybe this one. So that group is there. But also, yesterday, government brought the sovereignty bill about the national politics. I am not sure this parliament will have time to deal with it. I'm not sure. Most likely, these are bills that the Oponos will be dealing with.
I'm the only one going to be in the 20th parliament. And Semuju will be looking at me from, from outside.
He will be an analyst.
So I have a feeling that bill is going to be, it might be handled. They will have to withdraw it and then have it handled by that parliament. So you have two things that are concurrently taking place. Museveni is fighting. I think he's not satisfied that the opposition is completely dead. So he wants to use anything at his disposal to continue hammering at it. But also within his own group, the uncertainty is making people smell each and everything. You had even ministers who had started saying NRM is very bad. They had joined the Muhoozi, who were saying this NRM, they are Marxist, they are everything. And the minister said, yes, it is true, NRM is bad. Now they had gone. When they realized that no, Muhoozi was not going to be a candidate, now they came back to NRM. The NRM is the best thing. I sympathize with NRM people. They are like school children. When you tell them you sing this song, they will sing. So the ones who
That is discipline. Isn't that discipline?
No, I mean, a leader, you should be able to say this one I agree or I don't agree with, really. But for you to agree with each and everything, really,
No, you should give it to NRM for having cohesion.
You must have something wrong with the. So that uncertainty will be around, and people in Parliament are going to suffer with it.
So you think the sovereignty bill will take center stage?
It will come and pass. What is going to trouble NRM MPs is the game Museveni is playing with his son. There are those who are of double loyalty, but there are also those who think, I mean, I saw minister as a person like Ruth Acheng. I respect her. She's a good minister. One of the people who were given the responsibility that they can execute, that she had also become Perao. I am now the coordinator in so there is going to be a problem with the politics. For us in the opposition, we will continue suffering because that sovereignty bill is coming, particularly because Museveni had thought that the opposition will be dead. It hasn't died. So he must continue bringing, it hasn't.
I thought we were waiting for the funeral.
Then you'll have to bury it alive, if that's the intention.
Yeah, I mean, you used to bury people alive.
Yeah, so the NRM can learn. So you will have that playing out in Parliament. You remember the beginning of last term, it was birthday parties for Muhoozi, and quite people were asking, maybe the man this time is given to his son, looking at their shoulders, and then one by one they started following Muhoozi, only to realize it hasn't worked. So, with the exception of maybe the seniors like Ofono, who have some stability, the rest of NRM MPs are with no stability. They will be swung in any direction.
So it's going to be more of a rubber stamp.
First of all, on the critical issues I have told you, while publicly Museveni pretended that he was fighting corruption, he was settling an old score. Who has the last say on budget? And he used corruption and he settled it. NRM MPs now are fearful. They can't even change a comma in the budget. It's just a ceremony.
Thank you. I need to tell our viewers that Afro Mobile is on, so don't miss the conversation that is trending live.
And we have invited very many people from all the districts of Uganda to converge in Tororo. We have invited as a party
of Kololo.
To Kololo.
Kololo, yes.
But you've said Tororo.
No, Kololo. In Kololo, where we have invited over 20,000 people to participate in these celebrations. Secondly, we have a team of members of parliament whom we have inducted. And like I said, me in the media, there is a very good crop that I admired, that I will be deploying in the media, in the stations.
Inducted or indoctrinated?
No, inducted.
Okay.
Because in their own right, they are very brilliant people whom we shall be using. Some of them very young, but very brilliant. A person like Dr. Lakisa at her age. She's a dentist, she's a community leader, and she's vibrant, she can communicate. So, but as a party, we have a manifesto to deliver. Because we have promised the people of Uganda to protect the gains, but also make them better when we deliver on the manifesto.
As a former legislator, do you buy into his fears that the next parliament could be having a wicked agenda, extending the president, the term of the president and MPs to 7 years, plus several other things?
Parliament can debate anything. So we don't want to limit their aspirations and what they can consider. But that matter was considered by the courts of law, and a pronouncement was made that the current parliament has been elected on a contract for 5 years. They cannot amend themselves into the contract of giving them an extra time. Even if they did it, it will be for the benefit of the subsequent administration and parliament, not themselves. That's what the court said. So that matter,
Is it speculative?
I cannot begin now speculating or not speculating on what Parliament can consider. The Constitution requires them to make laws for the good governance of this country.
Thank you.
That's the only thing we shall appeal to them, that while they are there, let them know that they are doing so on behalf of the people of Uganda, and we must deliver as a party on the promises.
Honorable Kenya, what's your forecast of what lies ahead for national politics?
I want to pick on the manifesto first. What is your performance on the last manifesto?
The Prime Minister reported in the retreat that we have done 88%, and with these remaining days, we can easily deliver another 10%.
The government plan for your performance was below 20%.
You see,
4 is yet to
20.
come.
No, 3. The one of this time.
I am amazed. There are some issues which are raised, which some of these fights, which some of you people see, but you don't get the underlying issue. Kionga's first budget as Minister of Finance, he said there was money for a road. This road, Rekunye, but it was then Masindi, Apach, Lira, Kitgu. 87 budget, money was there for that road. Money was also there for the Dokolo Lira Road. Dokolo Lira Road was done in the 9th or 10th Parliament. This road, which was money was there in 1987, is still being done. Now, where do you get performance? Now, this is 87. We're now in 2026. Unfinished works. Money was there 40 years ago, not finished. So, on this issue, what do I expect? I don't expect any different. And I expect the reality, what I expect and what I've seen on some of the appetite of the members of parliament, we are going to have, maybe the president's warning may work, but Uganda is not going to be safe for the future generation. The plans which you're talking about, most of the plans are not going to work. And there's very few people who can tell the president this is not working. Dombo, when he was in the chair of the Committee of Natural Resources, the man could talk. He could deal with these issues. But we now have a crisis. Isimba is about to collapse. We talk about power. Isimba Dam. We have a problem.
Recently commissioned?
Before the default liability period, there was already a big crisis. But okay, the crisis happened just after the default liability period. We have a big crisis, internal crisis. This shoddy works. Road works. We talk about roads, what Honorable Smuji was talking about. There's a road here just near Fanero. It was being worked on last year. It's already developing fault. So what sort of works do we do? You do a tarmac road within a year, within one rainy season, you're back to square zero. That's why we have that 0.0%. So what are we going to do? You people are not going to do anything which is going to work for the people of Uganda. So I'm not going to lament. I'm going to just keep them under pressure. That is all I can do for them.
Thank you. You're focused. Now that you're energized by Chankwanzi.
You know, my brother Kenan hasn't lived in the country throughout. In '86, he was wearing dreadlocks and was saying NRM would not live in government even for 1 year.
Now,
They were- they
order,
had-
please.
They had added with the mouthpiece Cecilia Ogwal.
Let us be
With Cecilia Ogwal.
vulnerable here.
They said they would not touch NRM politics.
Can I
This is what
clarify
they
this
said.
one? Can I
They
clarify
said-
this one?
Okay, allow him to.
I stopped cutting my hair when Article 269 was put in the Constitution in October of 1995. Not 86. 1995, I stopped cutting my hair because of Article 269, which removed my right of association, my right of assembly, and my right to compete as UPC.
Well, I was just
So
coming-
do not belittle it. You see this thing of
So,
NRM, you try to make
I
jokes
am
out
saying-
of things.
yeah,
this is a
I'm
serious
saying-
issue.
I'm saying what
Article
you did then.
269.
Oh,
took
okay,
away my
fine.
rights.
Noted. Yes.
Yeah. But also there emerged other priorities. 86, 87, until 1997, to 2006 actually, 20 years, when we finally resolved the question of armed conflict around the country, and money began to be a little available. And then we thought at that time that maybe, by the way, with the so-called donors, that were saying, don't do this road because what Semuju was saying earlier, rate of return. The road in northern Uganda is to say, if there's a war, if it's back off beyond the place, even if you put a road. And remember that time, we were borrowing 100% of the money to do roads, even to recruit policemen. So other priorities came, and we did explain to Ugandans why we would not do that road, although we had promised, why we would not build that hospital, even if we had promised, and the people agreed with us. That's the reason why they have been electing the NRM, although with a smaller percentage. My brother Kena's so-called stronghold used to vote Akena, used to refuse, used to give Museveni 19%. Progressively, because they were able to believe our explanation, even Akena, elements from Akena's own party now vote for us.
If Akena was on the ballot,
Well,
Akena was on the ballot,
but
please.
he wasn't.
No, because he was stopped.
Olaro Tunu ran on your ticket.
Olaro Tunu is not Jimmy Akena.
I'm saying Olaro
Jimmy
Tunu,
Akena
but
was a different candidate.
I'm talking about UPC members, supporters have been increasingly voting Museveni and NRM. Lango, currently, your former stronghold, is now NRM. You can even see your people closest to you are now negotiating, they are now real, the NRM. So that should show you whether NRM is wrong, whether your own former supporters believe that NRM is not believing or otherwise. But let me say this. I know there's the behavior of Parliament as an institution, its leadership, its members in the past, previously, had let down, in some aspects, let down Ugandans. They drew the low expectations. I want to hope that members of Parliament as a body, from DP, from UPC, from whatever, from NUP, from NRM, with constant proactive engagement, we should give them the benefit of doubt. I think any human being is capable of improvement.
Could the 12th Parliament be a better house?
That's why what I'm saying, that since they are being inducted, the Speaker...
But they have always been inducted.
The Speaker, Anita Mong, did tell us in Chankwanzi that after swearing in on 15th, from 18th we are going for induction. From 18th, I think 25th or something like that. And so I think they will be continuous. And because the previous Parliament, or even this incoming one, may wobble, is no reason for Ugandans not to expect better. Being part of Parliament, being part of the politics in Uganda, I think we should all continue to shine a bright torch.
But the addresses
institutional
and the issues that MPs were raising, MP elects were raising in Chankwanzi, can only give you a snippet of the caliber.
But that's why I'm saying the continuous engagement, including the retweets, inductions by different parties and the caucuses and so on, should improve the quality, but also expectation and eventually what we expect them to deliver. You don't blame members of Parliament who have just come when they have seen the same Jews buying ambulances. They will think mine in Toro municipality said he was going to collect rubbish. He was going to ensure that the municipality is clean. Now, that's his expectation. Because I've been seeing in some places, members of parliament are collecting rubbish. What I opened with here.
Yeah, but look at...
There are people who think that...
Look at what you're confronted with before you swear in.
Yes, now it should be my job to go and patiently explain to my elders that it is not the MP who's supposed to give money for help.
It is to get the NRM to organize systems.
I should. One of my view is that if the previous parliament, for example, had said, Mr. President, you have your budget priority, we have a priority as parliament. Let's together caucus on this and we meet a convergence. For example, if parliament said, we are not passing the budget, Mr. President, in the caucus of NRM and in the main caucus of the House, and we say we are not passing the budget until you have provided assurance that we are going to give ambulance in the first year for every district hospital or for every health center, or we schedule. I think we will be having. So we can.
Many of us will come with very many of those ideas. Believe me.
No. I'm saying we no. Because you have failed,
all the blessings. You go and pass those ideas forward. We have tried.
I can see how UPC has surrendered. This is now a person who has surrendered. The fact that we have failed the first term, the second term, shouldn't mean that we should be
Okay. As we sign out.
Yes.
On the agenda in Chankwan's, there was something to do with the legislative agenda.
Yes, that's what the president does at every opening of a session. He gives the broad view how the parliament is going to move for the next 1 year. In this case, where the president is going to be sworn in, we expect him, as usual, to give the calendar for the entire 5 years.
Who drafts the legislative agenda? I thought it would be MPs.
No.
It is informed by...
No. It is the executive. And the executive does so, like now, Museveni, who has been here for 40 years, we expect that he has the things that have not been done over the last 40 years, and they are pertinent. And he's going to have a convergence with his cabinet. Part of the retweet was that, and in fact, better read the resolution properly. You'll see that the president has cascaded the 5 year in the retweet has cascaded the 5 year in that resolution. Now we expect that the caucuses of the NRM, the caucus of the other party will read this, look at the manifesto. Probably we should also look at the manifesto of the other parties, and we distill what is it that has been so outstanding and yet important. And then we eliminate this thing where they say unfunded priorities,
Gentlemen,
and so on and so forth. So we expect that eventually we shall have a convergence. About the opposition, with the way the Sembujus now have only 2 members of parliament, I don't expect them to put up much. The UPC has done relatively well. They have 10.
12.
I expect the UPC. And by the way, that's why we need constitutional reforms. Unfortunately, our Minister for Constitutional Affairs has let us down. For 4 years, he promised reforms, legal reforms, constitutional reforms, peaceful transition, I don't know what, to make it certainty. That's what he had said. He has been on this show very many times. He didn't fix that one. Now he says he can fix. But it would be good, for example, currently the law says public servants, civil servants in particular, should resign 3 months to nomination. And it was vague. It's not counted with the nomination of your party or the main nomination. Things like that need to be qualified. So we need constitutional amendment in a number of areas. However, the constitutional amendment should not be for selfish reasons of we, the sitting members of parliament.
But you already see what's on the radar. Sovereignty bill.
7 years.
7 years. Is it in national interest?
And the good thing is that the Constitutional Court has helped, at least in that one case which Honorable Dombo cited. We need to take a cue from that and say, okay, if we say a civil servant should, for example, should retire, should take leave, how long does it? Because there is a view that we are losing good people who want to serve in the political area, and you remember how that thing came? It was the Honorable Kunobe and Biandala. When Biandala was the engineer, state engineer, and wanted to challenge Kunobe, then he ambushed He brought that amendment in an ambush, but it didn't save him. So we need to review that. Do we still need civil servants actually to resign? And when they resign, do they become, when they are still in office, does that cease being partisan? Do they cease being partisan?
We need to retire.
Or they are simply
Thank you
hiding?
very much,
Or they are
gentlemen.
simply hiding?
Honorable Akena,
So we need to consider
Honorable
amendments.
Ofonopondo, I can't wait to see you on the floor of Parliament. I hope you won't be swallowed by collective responsibility.
Of course.
At times, yes.
Of course, yes. There are aspects. For example, Honorable
The money.
Semojo was a journalist. Does he disclose everything? He talks to the speaker.
Honorable Dombo and